Hello and welcome to today's episode, which deals with chroma key, a television term which many of you may not be very familiar with. But as we go along, we will introduce you to the concept and what amazing tricks can be done by chroma key to make television eminently interesting. The subject expert for this lesson is Mr. Sudhir Tandon. He started his career as a cameraman and retired as the Deputy Director General, Doordarshan. Today, we are going to understand the meaning, importance and function of chroma key, how to use it to create special effects and so on. We will look at how special effects were used in early days, tracing its history, from its origins in a rudimentary form in the silent cinema to its widespread use in television and video, and now in the digital domain too. We will also see how the various avatars of chroma key have held their sway in trick photography and special effects, and why it has become a necessary tool in television production, especially news and sports. But before we explore its concept and the principle, we ought to know its historical importance. So then, let us go back in time, around 116 years ago, to the early days of cinema in France. You already know that the Lumiere brothers had produced and exhibited to the public the first ever film on December 28, 1895. Right from its beginning, moving picture or cinema has fascinated audiences by its realism, its ability to create a world of fantasy and magic. From 1896 onwards, Georges Méliès, a French magician, began using trick photography in his films like Cinderella, A Trip to the Moon, and so on. Legend has it that when a close-up was shown for the first time in cinema, the audience in an American theatre ran out shrieking. They thought that the head had been cut off from the body. The first feature film made in India, Raja Harishchandra, by Dadasaheb Phalke in 1914, was full of trick photography. The earlier special effects were produced within the camera, such as simple jump cuts or superimpositions. Or they were created by using miniatures, back projection, or matte paintings. Optical effects like film titles, fades, dissolve, wipes, double exposures, blow-ups, and skip frames came slightly later. Mattes have been used in the film industry practically forever to create special effects. It is the optical process of combining or compositing separately photographed shots onto one print. Usually, actors are kept in the foreground and the setting in the background. Here is how this technique works. Let's say the director wants to create a scene where the lady actor is dangling from a rope over a deep river gorge, screaming for the hero to come and save her. The director has several options. The actress can actually dangle from the rope. Most actors are too valuable to be made to take such a risk. Second, a stunt person can stand in for the actress and be filmed in a long shot, so people cannot tell. But if you do this, the emotional effect of seeing a close-up of the actress's face as she screams would be lost. The travelling matte or the blue screen process technique can be used to make it look like the actress is dangling from the rope. Here are the steps. First, the river gorge or location is filmed. This shot is called the background plate. Then, the actress dangling from a rope 2 feet off the ground in a studio against a bright blue background screen is shot. This shot is re-photographed using filters to form two mattes from the shot of the actress. A blue filter lets through only the blue background light, leaving the foreground figure in silhouette, producing a male matte. Another shot is now taken using a red filter. The blue background comes out black and the foreground light producing a female matte. So now we have 4 pieces of film, the 2 originals and the 2 mattes. By combining all these pieces of film in layers, we can create the final piece of film for the shot. This technique is called optical compositing. Here, first the background is combined with the actress's silhouette. The film is then rewound and re-exposed to lay the actress into the hole that the matte has created. The actress now looks like this, and the final shot looks like this. This is a difficult, time-consuming and exacting process in filmmaking. This technique has become simpler in television, where it is known as Chroma key. It has become a basic tool of TV and is used constantly in news and sports. Due to its electronic medium, television reduced the uncertainty, time delays and labor-intensive mode of creating special effects on celluloid or film. The Special Effects Generator, or SEG as it is commonly known, became Aladdin's magic lamp for television production. A press of a button, a turn of a knob, or the use of a fader created a range of effects. Have you ever wondered how a caption or text is put over a background scene or an object? Is this how we normally see captions? Why do we see this ghost-like effect? This is because we have superimposed text over the background shot. Now look at this. The ghostly image is gone. The text is sharper, opaque and legible. Why? Because now we have keyed in the text instead of superimposing it. Keying is a special effect. Keying means to electronically cut out portions of a television picture as if with scissors and filling them in with another image. Say, all the black parts of one camera's picture are replaced with parts from another camera. The process works like this. Press the key button on the switcher. On channel A of the switcher, punch in camera 2. On channel B of the switcher, punch in camera 1. The camera on B channel will have some parts of its picture replaced with parts from the A channel. All of B's dark parts will be replaced with A's picture. It seems all the light parts of B were solid and real, while all the dark parts were transparent, and through them one could see A's picture. Now the question is, how dark should parts of B's picture be before they become transparent? The answer lies with the key sensitivity adjustment. Adjust it all the way in one direction, the key sense will see everything in B's picture dark enough to be transparent. Turned the other way, nothing from B will be transparent. One of the problems with black and white or luminance key is that it is difficult for the camera to decide whether something is black or not. Even with careful lighting, it is impossible not to have someone's hair, his eyes, or the shadow of a mic disappear and be replaced with another camera's picture. The text in the background picture no longer spill onto the person's body. Why? Because color was used to trigger the key instead of luminance. So, instead of black parts of the picture being replaced with another picture, all the blue parts are replaced with another camera's picture. The process is called chroma key, blue screen process, or CSO, which means color separation overlay. Since professional cameras give component video signal, any of the three color channels, red, green or blue, commonly referred to as RGB, can be used for chroma keying. Dedicated chroma keyers can accept all three colors, plus the background and the foreground composite signals. As with a key and a matte, one video source is used to cut an outline into a background source. Then, like a matte, the outline is filled in with a third source. Let us understand it this way. Take two identical sized placards, one with scenery, the other with a figure against a plain background. Trace the outline of the figure on the scenery placard. Cut out the figure and the outline separately. Affix the figure in the cavity in the scenery placard. The resulting composite picture demonstrates the principle of chroma key or matte. The most important factor for chroma key is the color separation of the foreground, that is the subject, and the background, which is the screen. Pure blue is a relatively rare color. Except for the eyes in some people, it is not found on the body. Its use in sets costumes and props can be easily avoided. Thus, placing a person and his props in front of a large blue curtain or cyclorama, the entire blue background can be replaced with a picture from a postcard, slide, live shot, or videotape, or a film. Remember, nothing in the desired foreground action should contain the same color as the background. If an actor is wearing a blue suit, for instance, most of his body will disappear when the keying replaces a blue background. By carefully placing props around the foreground subject, illusion of depth in the composite picture can be created. Chroma key too is not perfect. Care must still be taken in lighting the set. TV cameras tend to see dark shadowy areas as dark blue instead of pure black. The chroma keyer cuts those areas also out of the picture. Using soft and diffuse lighting helps in avoiding dark shadows. A matte surface too will diffuse the reflected light and have a more even color range. When the distance between the performer and the blue background is less, the reflection of the blue background on the performer's clothing creates a blue outline. Even if the distance between the subject and the blue background is more, the use of a shiny, reflective material or paint on the background can cause blue cast or a halo around the subject. A strong backlight, preferably with an orange or amber gel on it, will help kill the blue, thus giving the subject sharper edges. Attention has also to be paid to matching the direction of lighting and the color balance in the background with the subject. The use of different focal lengths for shooting the foreground and the background will give an unnatural look because the perspective in the two shots would not match. And what about the zoom? Does it look natural? No, because the magnification of background does not change with the foreground. Therefore, avoid zoom while chroma keying. With the introduction of the digital format, green is sometimes preferred as a backdrop because image sensors in digital video cameras, like the human eye itself, are more sensitive to green. As the green camera channel contains the least noise, it can produce the cleanest key, matte or mask. Additionally, less light is required to eliminate green, again because of the higher sensitivity to green in image sensors. The green background is also favored over blue for outdoor filming, where the blue sky might appear in the frame. And could accidentally be replaced in the process. Although green and blue are more common, any color can be used. Red is usually avoided due to its prevalence in normal human skin pigments, but can be used for objects and scenes which do not involve people. technique is to use a retro-reflective curtain in the background, together with a ring of bright LEDs around the camera lens. This requires no light to shine on the background other than the LEDs, which use an extremely small amount of power and space. While chroma key was possible using only live video in the analog system, in the digital format, chroma keying is easily done in the post-production stage. Non-linear edit machines and softwares like Final Cut Pro, Avid, After Effects, and even the Photoshop offers this facility. Friends, in today's session, we have revisited the beginnings of magic or special effects in cinema. Though called by different names in different periods and mediums, the basic principle of transporting persons or objects from one place to another or making them disappear has remained unchanged. We have explored the technique of chroma key and the ways to enhance its impact. And finally, here are some useful tips. Whether it is paint or cloth, use 1 or 2 shades darker than a true blue or true green. Since you are usually putting lights on your background, the lighting will wash out your background, making it too light for a good chroma key. The sun, especially on an overcast day, is the world's biggest soft light. If you want a nice, even and evenly lit background for keying, try to put your chroma key background outside. When shooting indoors, diffuse lights. For softer light means less shadow. Try to place a light source behind your chroma key screen. You could use an evenly transparent cloth material to achieve this. You will then find a nice even background with no shadows. Light your background and your subject individually to avoid shadows. Most nonlinear edit systems expect an absolutely even background for good results when using the green screen or blue screen chroma key option. Try RGB key or color key where you can select the color you want to key with a color picker. Now for the age-old question, which key color is better, blue or green? In most cases, blue works better since there is much more green content in skin color than blue content. But the choice will be dictated by the color in the foreground or the background. If you have a lot of keying to do, then carefully record the light positions and the other settings you use for your future reference. If your studio is small and a lot of sets are put up, then a virtual set is an option to explore. This is also useful if multi-cameras are to be used because chroma keyers generally key in only one camera. Virtual Studio permits the use of zoom shots too, as the background changes in magnification with change in the image size of the scene. Let us now quickly recap all of what we have discussed today. Meaning, importance and function of chroma key, how to use it to create special effects, how special effects were used in early days, tracing its history, from its origins in a rudimentary form in the silent cinema to its widespread use in television and video, and now in the digital domain. how the various avatars of chroma key have held their sway in trick photography and special effects, why it has become a necessary tool in TV production, especially news and sports. That is all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed understanding the importance of chroma key. It will be good if you now start experimenting with some effects and have lots of fun doing it. So goodbye.